with me here at Gloucester Park, Hall of Fame champion trainer Gary Hall Sr. And Gary, the big news has just come out that your son Gary Hall is going to join the ranks of the Hall of Famers, a well-deserved honour.
Yeah, it is, but it sort of detracts from you and me a bit, doesn't it, Ken? We have a junior in there, God.
Well,
no, I'm only kidding. I'm very proud of him, and he's a phenomenal arrangeman, and his record speaks for itself. And whether he got in the Hall of Fame this year or later on, he was always going to get in with his record. And I'm proud of him. I've always been proud of him. He's a phenomenal driver, and I don't think there's any better in Australia.
Gary never ceases to amaze me and many other people. Watching Gary drive in races, the skill he shows and the judgment he's got, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, he is. And, he's not the only one sort of thing. I mean, there's, throughout Australia, there'd be 5 or 6 drivers of equal calibre, but, he's just got that X factor as a driver, and like Chris Elford has, of course, and Gavin Lang, and, in New Zealand, there's the David Butchers and the Tony Herlihy's, and, but he's right up there with the very best of all time, and I'm very proud of him. And he has got tremendous judgment in all facets of the industry as far as driving is concerned.
And he drives one of your very smart paces in the $50,000 Rawa Cup on Friday night at Gloucester Park. I'm talking about the 5-year-old Herrick Roosevelt, who's resuming after a spell. He's only had 18 starts. He's won 10. He's been placed 6 times. He's drawn the prize -- barrier in the 2130-metre Rawa Cup.
Yeah, he's had a few injury problems, and they're not they're unusual ones. They're ones that I've never encountered before. And with a cyst in his stifle, he's a little bit scratchy warming up, but he always works terrific. And this time's been his best time since I've had him. The way he's working, he's worked the best I've had him since I've had him, and he's working really good. And barrier 1 is the barrier he needed to be a winning chance, I think. He's
a last start winner, and he is a good front runner as well. So he'll take advantage of the one.
Yeah, he's an excellent front runner. He's a quick beginner. He won the Christmas handicap, I think, at his last start before he went out, and we brought him back for a small preparation, and we decided to operate on his stifle, which we did, and he's a lot better than he used to be. So with regard to that, I'm fingers crossed that he can lead all the way, which I think he can.
Gary, you've got a big team in on Friday night at Gloucester Park in race 2. You've got Chok Chai engaged, drawn barrier 2 in race 2. Will it run second?
Well, I've been running a few places lately, and it's hard to win a race down here nowadays, but Chok Chai will definitely keep on improving with every run. I was a little bit disappointed he got beat the other night, but Lord Willoughby's a nice horse, and he had a really good run. Had a perfect run in transit, so you'd have to say, looking at that field, there's nothing better than Lord Willoughby in there. And I presume he'll find the lead. I don't know about Soho Wonder whether they'll want to lead or not, but Chok Chai will definitely acquit himself well, I think.
Then we go down to the third event. Ben Hope Rules is racing extremely well, but he's drawn the outside of the back line in race 3.
Yeah, he might be a place chance only in that, with Better Aim drawn 3, and he looks the logical leader and winner, I think, Better Aim, from looking at it. So if Better Aim doesn't happen to lead, he's not as good off the fence as he is on the rails. So that might give us some hope. But I think, he's in career best form, Ben Hope Rules, and he's quite a nice little horse now. He's shown a little bit more stamina than he used to. So, we're quite happy with him.
And in race 4, one of the big races, the Caduceus Club Classic. And here you've got Eloquent Mac engaged, drawn the outside of the back line on Tuesday night here at Gloucester Park. Eloquent Mac continued his most impressive form. He's been racing superbly in recent weeks, and tonight he showed plenty of stamina and plenty of guts and determination to hold on and win.
Yeah, he's got everything required of a nice horse, except the fact that he's grown so much since we've had him, and I think he's like a 16-year-old footballer that's growing into his body, sort of thing, and that's what he's like. He's a bit of a slow learner like that, and he races in spurts, and he can stay, and he's quite quick. So I don't think he can win this race from the barrier draw, but I would have liked to have seen him draw the lead, and it'd take a real nice horse to beat him. But from barrier 12, he's probably up against it.
And Gary, we go down to race 8. drawn out wide at barrier 9 Caviar. Oh no, it's a stand, so on the 10 metre line is Caviar Star, and you can't fault his form.
Yeah, no, last week he got beat. It might have looked disappointing on paper because he was a short price favourite, but I thought his performance was outstanding. He was off the track for a long way, looked no hope of running in the money, and clawed his way into second position with a slow lead time and a sprint home. So I thought he went terrific. He's quite capable of a standing start. He's won a couple for me, and I think he's going to be the one to beat in that race, actually. Yeah.
Then in the second last, Rock and Roll Baby and Liberty Rose, a couple of nice mares. And interesting, tell us a bit about Rock and Roll Baby. She's racing in a pacing race here. She raced as a trotter before that, and before that she raced as a pacer.
Yeah, she won a 2-year-old pacing race, and then they sent her over to me as a trotter, and as usual I can't get them to trot, and I'm not really that experienced in training trotters. I've won quite a few trotter races. I even won the Trotters Cup, and I don't know how, but I don't like them. You've always got your heart in your mouth with trotters, whether they're going to trot all the way or not. So I said to the owners, you either got to move her on to somebody else, or I'll try and turn her back into a pacer. And they said, oh, well, try and turn her into a pacer. So we did that, and she trialled quite good. And actually last week she was a very good run, and probably could have won with a little bit more luck in running. And but I was hoping this week she might draw a barrier, but barrier 9, that's out the window. So I think you might have to wait for another day, but she's got a foot on the till, that's for sure.
But in her race is Liberty Rose. She's come back after a spell. She's been placed about 5 or 6 times in a row. She's overdue to break through for a win.
Yeah, she's looked a bit disappointing on occasions, but she's had a little problem. She's been flipping a pallet, and we put her noseband on and tied her tongue down last week, and she got to the line good with a slow pace and the sprint home, so I thought she went quite good as well. And she's definitely going to win a race shortly, and that barrier probably won't hurt her, barrier 11. I think she's a chance, but she'd still need a bit of luck from that barrier draw. But yeah, she's improving with every run.
And you'll be out of bed late on Friday night because you've got a couple of runners in the 10th and final event, Gary, in last place getters, in Mr. Bushido, who's improving every week, and also our Rhythm and Blues, a good solid run first up last Friday night.
Yeah, Mr. Bushido surprised me last week. He's been a bit disappointing, and he choked down one night there and ran nowhere, and but last week he showed gate speed, which I didn't think he had, and I thought he went really good because he held Franco Edward for a while, made him do a bit of work because he pulled a bit. Franco Edward then crossed, and he ran a good third to Sweet and Fast and Franco Edward, and I think if either of them were in this race they'd be winning. So obviously he's got to have a chance, but barrier 7's a little bit of a problem. In Rhythm and Blues, I thought he was unbeatable last week the way he'd been working at home, but as usual.
You're a great judge.
I'm a great judge, and I had a bet on him, and when I back him, that'll stop anything. So yeah, he went. I thought he was disappointing, really. I thought he should have won the way he works at home, and he'll probably go better held up and running home, and that's what he's going to have to do from that barrier draw. I wouldn't write him out of the race because I think he's got some ability, but he was disappointing last week, that's for sure.
And Gary, I suppose you're excited to get my hard copies, brother, over here.
Yeah, yeah, I am, because my hard copy wasn't all that flash when I got him, and he'd probably won 1 or 2 races around the country, and he was about a C1 or 2 when he came here, and didn't over-impress me when I first got him, but he just went from strength to strength, and I've worked him this week, jogging him my carbon copy, and he seems quite a nice little horse, so I am quite pleased to have him here.
And also just arriving in your stable is the 3-year-old filly from over there, Belle Catherine or something like that?
Yeah, Belle Catherine. Yeah, I had a look at her races. Steve buys all his horses. He doesn't ask me whether I like them or not. He just buys them and sends them to me, which is fine by me. It takes the pressure off. But yeah, Belle Catherine, yeah, she's quite a lean little filly, but she looks nice, a nice type, and she travelled quite good. And I'll give her a few days to get over the trip and everything, and then we'll put her into work. She's had 2 starts for 2 wins, and I'm not quite sure how she'll measure up with the horses like Dracaris and Typhoon Tiff, but on appearances and everything, and you can't do any more than win. She's had 2 starts and 2 wins, so hopefully she's a class filly, and we'll know shortly.
And finally, everyone in Western Australia and in Australasia is waiting for the return to racing of Chicago Bull. How's he gone after his first couple of weeks on the track?
Yeah, he's still exactly the same as he was before the accident. He just, shies at everything, and you have to take a stick with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the field at the start here for the running of
He's a lazy
race
type
number
of
3.
horse, and
Shadowmaker, Universal
he feels
Major,
good
Extra
and he
Dark,
looks fantastic. And
American Rock.
I really can't find any fault with him. I can't see any problem with his gait or the way he's cantering or anything. He just seems quite
Universal
comfortable.
Major in the red colours,
Fingers
Extra
crossed
Dark,
when we start hopping.
gold with the
That's great news. And Gary, all the best of luck with your big team here at Gloucester Park on Friday night.
Thanks very much, Ken. Thank you.